Welcome to part B. We will continue with the supply side, which represents the sellers. Two important concepts to learn here. First, the law of supply, which sets the direct relationship between price and quantity supply. This means that higher prices imply higher quantity supply, and that lower prices imply lower quantity supply. Second, the supply curve, which is a graphical representation of this relationship, holding other variables constant. Later, we will discuss what these other variables are. Now, similar to what we did with the demand, a very important distinction must be made between two possible changes associated with supply. One, a change in quantity supplied can only be triggered by a change in price, holding other variables constant. This is illustrated by a movement along the supply curve. And second, a change in supply, which is illustrated by a shift in the entire supply. Let's take a closer look at this. In this graph, you can see that a change in quantity supplied, for example, a change that means an increase in price, means a movement along the supply curve from point A to point B. In contrast, a change in supply implies a shift of the entire curve. If the shift is to the right, we call this an increase in supply. If the shift is to the left, we call this a decrease in supply. Now, the other variables I've been talking about are called the supply determinants. These are the factors that can make the supply shift. For example, an increase in input prices implies a decrease in supply, or an increase in the number of companies in the market implies an increase in supply. Consult your textbook for a larger variety of examples. Once again, these concepts and graphs are very useful, but we need to measure things. This is why we need a supply function, which is a mathematical representation that describes how many units of a good or service will be produced and sold depending on different factors such as the price of the good or service, the prices of the factors of production, the price of related goods, etc. Here you have the simplest supply function, which is a linear function. Notice that we denote quantity supply by QXS, the price of X as PX, and so forth. Also notice the B coefficients for each variable. These coefficients also reveal very important information. Let's see how. The positive sign of Bx is dictated by the law of supply. If the sign of Bw is negative, it means that an increase in the price of an input implies a decrease in supply. If the sign of Br is positive, it means that technology lowers the cost of producing X and therefore an increase in the supply. Now, a final but very important concept related to supply is producer surplus, which is the difference between what sellers are willing and able to sell what they produce and what they actually receive, which is the market price. We will use this concept later, so don't forget about it. Okay, this concludes part B of this chapter 2 lecture. See you in part C when we connect both demand and supply.